Yeah, it's interesting when you talk about, the skeletal system, you usually focus on the calcium there, right? When you're looking at things like osteoporosis and perimenopause, menopausal women, that's a big one to focus on. And we've really taken that, hey, it's calcium deficiency. But
Right.
60% of all magnesium is in the bones, right? And
Yeah.
it's so essential. Can you talk about why magnesium and not just calcium is so important when we look at our skeletal system?
Like you said, the majority of magnesium is stored in our bones. We use it as our last resort when we need it. So if our blood levels are going down, we'll start breaking down bone. Our osteoclasts, our cells will break down bone to get that magnesium to try to keep it at a normal level so we don't have a cardiac arrhythmia and die. So it is that reservoir. And throughout our life, we are trying to store it. But by the time we're 50, half of the magnesium in our skeletal system has been depleted on average. So we have less and less and less magnesium to draw from when we're deficient now. And so magnesium is required to activate vitamin D. And it's the active form of vitamin D that absorbs calcium in the diet. So if you want to be able to absorb the calcium, you got to have good magnesium to activate vitamin D. And then the magnesium plus the vitamin K2 helps to drive calcium where it needs to go, away from the arteries and into the bones. And so, like you said, we've been focusing on calcium and a little bit of vitamin D, but you can't even activate vitamin D without magnesium. And
Yeah.
so it is a very key mineral when it comes to bone health.
Yeah, I saw your post on that and vitamin D. If you don't have the magnesium, the vitamin D is worthless, right? And that
Yep.
that that would go also if you're outdoors producing vitamin D in the sunshine and everything, you have to still look at your magnesium levels, K2 levels, and understand that relation, right? So if would it be your recommendation if you're taking vitamin D, let's say we're getting into these, this time of the year in the northern hemisphere where you're not going to be as much outside and producing that within the sunlight, so you may switch to a vitamin D supplement. But would you say absolutely take that with a magnesium supplement? K2 has to be with the vitamin D. Is that something you're pushing for there?
100%,
Yeah.
because it's well known that magnesium deficiency leads to vitamin D resistant rickets. In other words, vitamin D will not work if you are deficient in magnesium because of that. And so I like to take vitamin D and K with fat, typically during the day. And then magnesium can be taken either during the day or at night, depending. Some people get energy from it. I get energy from it. Some people
Yep.
actually get sleepy. So you got to kind of test that out. But magnesium is funny. You want to make sure to avoid fiber and a lot of fat around the time you take it, because both fat and fiber can bind magnesium and decrease its absorption. And here's the real interesting part that when I was researching for the book that came to light is that all the high magnesium foods, nuts, seeds, dark chocolate, greens, beans, all these high fiber foods, yes, they are high in magnesium, but their bioavailability is so low that when we look at individuals on high fiber diets, they can actually be in negative magnesium balance, even consuming 500 milligrams of magnesium per day.
Mm.
And so you have to be really careful consuming these quote unquote high magnesium foods, because the fiber and the phytic acid dramatically reduces the magnesium that's absorbed. So really the best sources of magnesium from food would be shellfish,
Hmm.
seafood, meat, and avocados. Those are really good bioavailable sources of magnesium.